Hello everybody. If you want to read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 662, The Weekly Shop Disaster. Upper Beginner. It was a typical Saturday morning for John. He woke up early, got dressed in his comfiest shopping clothes, a faded t-shirt and jogging pants, and headed to the out-of-town supermarket. As he drove down the motorway, he imagined the peaceful aisles and plentiful parking spaces that awaited him. Upon arrival, John grabbed a trolley and began his journey through the sliding glass doors. The first challenge she faced was the café, where a sign promised free coffee with every breakfast purchase. John's eyes widened at the thought of a free caffeine boost. He quickly grabbed a coffee machine pod and a packet of croissants, only to realise the offer didn't apply to the pods. Undeterred, John continued shopping, carefully planning his route to avoid the crowds. However, his navigation skills failed him when he encountered the labyrinth aisles. After circling the same section 3 times, he spotted the milk, only to find it was 2 litres for £5. John decided to make do with almond milk instead. As he wandered through the store, his trolley became a magnet for every spilled product and fumbled item on the shelves. A tin of beans clattered to the floor, and a loaf of bread slipped out of his grasp, landing butter side down on the dirty floor. John picked it up, dusted it off and put it back in his trolley, reasoning, "It's organic, so the dirt is almost organic too." After what felt like an eternity, John reached the checkout. The queue was moving at a glacial pace, and the person in front of him was having a heated discussion with the cashier about the price of hummus. John took this opportunity to rearrange his trolley, prioritising the most fragile items. Finally, it was John's turn to pay. He loaded the conveyor belt with his items, only to realise he had left his wallet on the checkout counter in the previous queue. After a frantic search and a few choice words, John located his wallet and paid for his groceries. As he loaded his car, John felt a sense of accomplishment. He had survived the weekly shopping disaster and even managed to find some great deals. On his drive home, he chuckled to himself, thinking, "Well, that was an adventure." When he arrived home, his partner greeted him with a smile and asked, "How was your shopping trip?" John replied, "It was eventful, but I got everything I needed, and I only had to buy 1 extra loaf of bread." Vocabulary notes. Comfiest, adjective, meaning, most comfortable. Example, he got dressed in his comfiest shopping clothes, a faded t-shirt and jogging pants. Similar words. Coziest, most relaxing, most pleasant. Example sentence. She wore her comfiest shoes to the party so she could dance all night. Labyrinth, adjective, meaning, complex or confusing, like a maze. Example, however, his navigation skills failed him when he encountered the labyrinth aisles. Similar words. Maze-like, convoluted, intricate. Example sentence. The new museum's labyrinth corridors made it difficult to find the exit. Undeterred, adjective, meaning, not discouraged or intimidated. Example, undeterred, John continued shopping, carefully planning his route to avoid the crowds. Similar words. Unfazed, resolute, persistent. Example sentence. Despite the rain, the undeterred hikers continued on their journey. Glacial, adjective, meaning, moving or happening very slowly. Example, the queue was moving at a glacial pace, and the person in front of him was having a heated discussion with the cashier about the price of hummus. Similar words. Slow-moving, sluggish, plodding. Example sentence. The company's growth was glacial, taking years to expand into new markets. Frantic, adjective, meaning extremely anxious or urgent. Example. After a frantic search and a few choice words, John located his wallet and paid for his groceries. Similar words. Panicked, desperate, frenzied. Example sentence. The parents made a frantic call to the emergency services when they couldn't find their child in the crowd. Story written by Meta AI. Image created by onemin.ai. To read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're looking at something a bit different. It's a short story, actually.
Yeah, called The Weekly Shop Disaster. And it's interesting because it was designed, for English learning, packed with vocabulary notes.
Right, hyper-detailed notes.
Yeah.
It basically turns a really annoying shopping trip into this, epic tale of woe. Almost funny.
Exactly. And our mission today really is to use this story, John's really bad Saturday morning, as a sort of roadmap. We want to quickly absorb 5 very powerful descriptive adjectives from it.
And see how they work together, I guess.
Precisely. It's about how these specific words, in sequence, kind of manipulate how you perceive the whole disaster, the time, the space, even John's feelings.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. John's expectations. He wakes up early, wants a peaceful shop, puts on his comfiest shopping gear, faded t-shirt, jogging pants. That word, comfiest. It really sets you up, doesn't it?
It totally does. It creates this immediate contrast with the absolute chaos that's about to unfold. He's expecting ease, comfort.
And that expectation gets shattered pretty quickly. First little fail.
Well, it's the café sign, isn't it? The one promising free coffee with every breakfast purchase.
Ah, yeah. He grabs his coffee pods, maybe a packet of croissants. Thinks he's nailed it.
Right. Thinks he scored a little win. But then, finds out the offer doesn't apply to machine pods, just, proper cafe coffee.
But the story uses the word undeterred right after that, which feels almost big for just missing out on free coffee.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It is a strong word for shrugging off a tiny disappointment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's deliberate. It frames John not just as slightly miffed, but as this sort of resilient character, determined to get through his list no matter what. It sets his mental state before things get really bad.
Before he hits the labyrinthine aisles.
Exactly. That's the next hurdle. The spatial confusion. The source calls the aisles labyrinthine. He apparently circled the same spot 3 times.
Okay, so labyrinthine. Is that like the store is genuinely a maze? Or is it more about John getting tired and stressed so it feels like a maze to him?
Good question. Probably a bit of both, A maze is confusing physically, sure. But the word itself suggests this long, maybe hopeless journey. It ramps up his frustration.
Right before the budget shocker?
The budget shocker. The milk. 2 liters for £5.
Ouch. Yeah, that would do it.
So yeah, he had to grab the almond milk instead, see how the environment, the layout, the price, it's actively working against him now.
Definitely. And then it gets physical, right? The trolley becomes a problem.
Right. A total spill magnet. First, a tin of beans goes clattering.
Annoying, but okay.
But then,
yeah,
the big one. The loaf of bread. It slips.
No.
Lands butter side down. Of course.
Oh, the worst. So what does he do?
This is where it gets kind of darkly funny. His justification is amazing. Picks it up, dusts it off.
You're kidding.
Nope. Puts it back in the trolley. And his reasoning, it's organic. So the dirt is almost organic too.
Wow. Okay, he's officially losing it at this point.
Completely. His mental state is just gone.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going downhill when he finally makes it to the checkout.
Ugh. The cue. The final boss.
And the description here is brilliant. It's moving at a, quote, glacial pace.
Glacial. That really makes you feel the slowness, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And why is it so slow?
Yeah.
Because the person ahead of him is having this massive argument with the cashier about the price of hummus.
Oh, for goodness sake. Hummus.
Exactly. So the story slows everything right down with glacial, making you feel that drag, and then, bam, the climax.
Which is...
He gets the till finally. reaches for his wallet.
Oh, no, don't tell me.
It's not there. He left it back at the counter where he almost bought the coffee.
No, the ultimate fail.
And the word used here, frantic, that sudden heart-stopping panic when you search for something you know you just had, frantic captures it perfectly.
So that's the sequence. Comfiest setting the scene.
Right. Then undeterred for that initial resilience.
Labyrinthine for the confusing space.
Glacial to slow down time.
And finally, frantic for that peak emotional panic.
Exactly. It shows how choosing the right words in the right order turns a simple bad shopping trip into this really vivid, analyzed disaster story.
And that matters for you, the listener, because...
Well, it shows that strong communication isn't just about knowing big words. It's about understanding their impact and, where to place them for effect. These 5 words basically categorize John's whole ordeal.
Yet, despite all that, the 5-count milk, the dirty organic bread, the maze, the missing wallet, how does John describe it later?
He tells his partner it was just eventful.
Eventful.
Yeah. Says he got everything they needed, well, apart from having to buy 1 extra loaf of bread. Total understatement. Masterclass in reframing reality.
That's some serious resilience, or maybe denial.
Maybe a bit of both. The ultimate survivor. Which leads us to our final thought for you.
Okay.
Think about your own life. What knowledge, or maybe what perspective, lets you frame your own frustrating, chaotic moments? Not as disasters, but as, well, successful adventures. Something to mull over.